Welcome back to Apex Sci-Fi. In the grand design of sentient life, biology dictates psychology. The vast majority of spacefaring civilizations evolved from grazing herd animals. The Zendari, the Glazian, the massive Bovari, they are all species whose ancestors survived by being aware of their surroundings. Their eyes are placed on the sides of their heads, giving them a nearly 360-degree field of view. They are built to spot movement on the horizon. They are built to flee. To them, a wide, unfocused gaze is a sign of safety and intelligence. It is the look of a creature that is aware of everything but targeted by nothing. Then humanity arrived on the galactic stage. We did not evolve in a herd. We evolved in the trees and on the savannas as pursuit predators. We spent millions of years stalking things that did not want to be caught. To do that, evolution took our eyes and moved them from the sides of our head to the front. We sacrificed our peripheral awareness for a singular, terrifying ability: binocular focus. We are built to lock onto a single target, calculate its distance, predict its movement, and run it down until it can run no more. To the rest of the galaxy, a human stare is not just a look. It is a biological threat detection. It is the sensation of being targeted by a missile that has not yet been fired. This is the story of the trade negotiations of Sector 7, and why alien diplomats now have a standing rule: never make eye contact with a human. The Varnas hegemony were masters of bureaucratic bullying. They were tall, elegant herbivores with wide-set, gentle eyes that could see behind them without turning their heads. They were used to intimidating other species with complex contracts and subtle economic threats. When they sat across the table from Ambassador David Carter of the Terran Union, they expected an easy victory. Carter was small, soft-skinned, and seemingly harmless. High Negotiator Toll of the Varnas laid out the terms. They were insulting. The Varnas demanded a 90% tariff on all human goods and control over Earth's primary shipping lanes. Toll spoke for an hour, his voice dripping with condescension, his wide eyes scanning the room, never resting on anything for more than a second. "We understand your position is weak, human," Toll said, shuffling his datapads. "You are new. You are poor. You will accept these terms because you have no choice. Our fleet is parked outside your orbit. Do not test our patience." Ambassador Carter had been listening quietly. He hadn't looked at his datapads. He hadn't fidgeted. When Toll finally stopped talking, Carter slowly leaned forward. He placed his hands flat on the table. And then he looked at Toll. He didn't shout. He didn't bare his teeth. He simply focused his entire visual field onto the alien's face. His pupils dilated. The small muscles around his eyes tightened, locking his gaze into a fixed, unblinking stare. For Toll, the effect was immediate and catastrophic. The Varnas brain evolved over 50 million years to detect threats. The primary trigger for their flight response is the feeling of being watched by a predator. When a creature with forward-facing eyes locks its vision onto a Varnas, their primitive hindbrain screams a single message: "You are prey. Run." Toll's hearts, all three of them, began to hammer against his ribs. His sophisticated, civilized intellect tried to rationalize the situation. "It's just a small mammal," his conscious mind argued. "It has no claws. It has no weapon." But his biology was screaming louder. It saw the intensity in Carter's eyes. It saw the depth perception calculating the distance to his throat. It saw the absolute, terrifying stillness of a hunter about to spring. Why are you looking at me like that?" Toll stammered, his voice rising an octave. He tried to look away, but the human's gaze was like a gravity well. He felt pinned to his chair. Carter didn't blink. His voice was very quiet, very calm, and utterly terrifying. "I am reading your terms, Toll. And I am trying to decide if you are greedy or just stupid." Toll's ancestral memory took over. He wasn't in a boardroom anymore. He was back on the ancestral plains of his homeworld, and a shadow was emerging from the tall grass. Sweat slicked his fur. His hands began to shake violently. The other Varnas aides at the table were also whimpering, their peripheral vision catching the predatory focus of the human, triggering a herd panic. "Stop it!" Toll shrieked, pushing his chair back, knocking over the table. "Stop hunting me with your eyes." The negotiations ended in shambles. The Varnas fleet withdrew the next day. They didn't retreat because of human military power. They retreated because their high negotiator had a complete nervous breakdown after being stared at for 30 seconds. The galaxy learned a hard lesson that day. They realized that humans carry an ancient, biological weapon on their faces. Our ability to focus is not just a tool for reading or working. It is a legacy of violence. We are the species that looks the world dead in the eye before we conquer it. Today, the diplomatic handbooks of the Galactic Union contain a special section on humanity. It advises alien representatives to look at a human's chin, or their forehead, or a point just over their shoulder. It warns them that prolonged eye contact with a human can trigger deep-seated evolutionary trauma in prey species. In the great xenobiology universities, professors show pictures of human eyes to their students. They point to the forward placement, the sharp focus, the intensity. This, they teach, is the gaze of the apex predator. It is not the look of anger. It is the look of assessment. When a human looks at you like this, they are not seeing a person. They are seeing a target. And they are deciding where to strike. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. We don't mean to scare you. It's just how we see the world. If you have ever won an argument just by giving someone the look, hit that like button. You are using your primal power. Comment below, have you ever felt the weight of someone staring at you before you saw them? Subscribe. And try not to blink first. Target acquired. Focus locked.